Hello, thank you for joining me. I wanted to come in and talk about men's mental health. So what happened was, what has inspired this or ignited this? So you would have seen, if I know a lot of you watch maths. So our friend Cam Merchant is on Married at First Sight with his beautiful bride Jules, and the other night it was aired. There was footage of him aired where he had a cry. He had a breakdown. It was all a bit overwhelming, and I call Cam Napper, so that's what I'm going to refer to him as because I get too confused between the two. So Nap has copped, while he has gained a tremendous amount of support after showing his emotions, he's also copped a bit of flack. I actually haven't read the nasty comments because I get like a mama bear and I get too protective and I don't want to cause more drama. It's more just focusing on how we can support men and their mental health. So Nap's been getting quite a bit of support, but he also copped a bit of flack for showing his emotions. And if anyone saw, I don't want to start any negativity, but if you saw those nasty comments, it's just not productive. They're already in such a foreign environment. And while I don't want to cast judgments or blame on any of the other people, it is an experiment and everyone is out of their comfort zone and they're all trying to figure things out the best way that they can. And for Nap to have been able to show, or for him to break down like that in the first place, there must have been something big going on. And I was chatting to him and he shared with me, so he does a lot of work in the community with youth mental health. He's in the cricket club and different things like that. And he had said, and there's an article out there, that day, or the day before, I think maybe it was at the commitment ceremony or whatever it was, but Napa had been working with kids, young guys, and one of the young men there, who was 15 years old, had spoken to the room that Napa was in with all of these other people and said, I just want to say how grateful I am for this group because I feel so supported and so safe because last night I tried to take my life. And for then Nap to have to go and then be on television and be filmed and be around all this drama when him and Jules are clearly so happy together, for them to then have to go and deal with this drama and people not being real and people, who knows what goes on behind the scenes. Like, you never know what goes on fully. We get to see an hour of however long the actual filming of it all is, so we don't know what's going on with the other people on the show. But it obviously, if you're in a happy relationship and you're surrounded by people that aren't happy, or there's lying or cheating, or you just never know who's being truthful, of course it's going to take a toll on you. So I was really proud of Nap. When I saw the ads the week before, I got really concerned for him, because when you see one of your friends crying, or someone that you know and love crying, especially on TV, even though I know it was filmed months ago, it broke my heart for Nap to see him in that state. But I was also really proud of him because he was able to start like a conversation about mental health, and he's always been a big advocate for it, and that's what he does in the local community. And so I just wanted to come in here and say hello to everyone and thank you all for being on here, and just to share some tips and tricks and services with you guys about where you can go for support and how you can support the men in your life. I know majority of the women or of the people that follow on here are women, but I do have a beautiful following of men that I want to feel supported and to know that they can show vulnerability and they will not be judged for it. You'll be supported. You'll be loved. Showing vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. To be able to show someone how you feel, that takes great strength. It's not a weakness. And there's way too many, like the statistics are way too high to say for you to feel alone. There are so many people and so many men. Like, look at, I've written so much stuff down, but like 75% of self-harm deaths are by males. So we're up to now, the stats in 2007 were there are over 3,000 people taking their lives in 2017, and 75% of those, so over 2,000 of those were men. And back in 2017, it was 6 men per day were taking their lives. It's now up to 8. 8 men per day are taking their lives because they feel like they're not supported, or they don't have anywhere to turn, or they're not sure of the services that are around them because it's not spoken about as widely as women's mental health or postnatal support or just different things like that. Or they feel scared or ashamed to admit that, you know, things are a bit much. But this is what I'm trying to break down or stop the stigma around. And I know there are so many incredible people doing it as well. There's just one woman, Lisa, on here, who is actually walking from Melbourne to Perth to raise awareness about suicide and raise funds for Lifeline. So she is incredible. But where was I? Tracking back. Someone help me out. What was I talking about that I've lost track on? But oh my gosh, my mind. But yeah, there are so many services out there available to men, and to us as women supporting our men, or to family members supporting people in need. So, oh my gosh, I wish I could remember what I was talking about just then. Scatterbrain. But yeah, so the basis of it is just to know that you are supported, there is help out there, and it's not a sign of weakness. So some of the amazing causes out there, and I'll give you some, maybe I'll start by doing, I'm going to be doing a blog post where you can find all of this information, all of the help lines, all of the services, all of the how to start a conversation with someone that you feel might be at risk or just having some mental health struggles. Because let's face it, this is obviously really close to my heart, having lost my brother to suicide. And I just want to be able to help and to empower people to be able to help other people or to help themselves, and to know that you're not alone. There are many, many people struggling with mental health concerns or having mental health concerns. And there are services out there that you can turn to for support. Anonymous support. They don't have to know who you are, where you are, what it is you do. They don't have to know anything. It can be totally anonymous. Obviously, if you are in a real crisis state, they are going to have to send help to you. But yeah, so some of the tips. So the first one was, if there is anyone in your life, if there is a man in your life that you feel needs help, ask. If they're not prepared to speak to you, you can have a look on Lifeline. You can call up Men's Health. There's a suicide callback service. There's so many people on Instagram doing amazing things. There's a Gotcha for Life, which is local to the Northern Beaches. I know a lot of people are in Sydney as well. Gotcha for Life, that is a men's help organisation trying to bring men together to dispel mental health issues and to reduce suicide. Majority of them are all, there's one in Avalon called 180, and that's, their goal is to just eliminate youth suicide. On the beaches last year we had 30 people, not just men, but 30 people take their life. Like, that's 2 a month, more than 2 a month. And a lot of them offer free events that you can go to and that you can connect with other people that are having similar struggles. And one of them, the Gotcha Covered one, is also trying to kind of match guys up. So you have a little buddy service. So maybe you guys go for a surf together or go for a run together, and you don't really have to be sitting spilling your guts over stuff. You can just kind of gently talk about, oh yeah, I'm having a bit of a rough time at work, or, you know, me and my wife, we're having not such a great time at the moment, or like, no one is just cruising through life. No, maybe you are, but there's always bits and pieces here and there, and it's okay to ask for help, and it doesn't mean that it's a forever thing. I was just reading before that a lot of the suicides that are happening, statistically, are shown that it is like situation specific, or the causes of it have come out of a certain situation that is a short term thing. So it's been a build up over a short amount of time that has then caused them to contemplate suicide or to suicide. And can I ask, guys, while we're on the topic of suicide, can you spread the word, please, to everyone that you know, to stop people saying that someone committed suicide? Because it's not a crime. Like, this is what they taught us when I was on the phones for Lifeline. So I worked with them as a crisis support operator on the phones, and the biggest thing that they said was, no one commits, it's not a crime. So we just need to change the language around it, change the terminology to say that they suicided, or they took their life, or they died by suicide. They didn't commit suicide. So that was my one little thing. But I also wanted to say one of the other stats as well, while I remember that part. So suicide is the leading cause of death in men aged 15 to 44. So the leading cause of death in men aged 15 to 44 is suicide. And the highest range in that age range is men aged 35 to 44. So these are usually guys that would have families of their own, or work stresses, family life stresses, any type of stress. It doesn't matter whether you've got a family or not. Everyone's situation, it's all relative to what you're going through. So you might feel, oh, I can't talk to anyone because that person's gone through something worse than I have. It doesn't matter. Like, your feelings are important and they're valid, and it's relative to you and it's important to you. So you deserve to have someone that you can speak to. It doesn't matter if you're just feeling, how do I word this? Like, okay, personally for me, I don't want anyone to ever feel that they can't talk to me about something in their life because I've had a brother that died. For them to think, oh, but you've had a brother that died, I can't talk to you about, you know, I'm sad about my job, or anything like that. Anything is relative. I don't want anyone to ever feel like their feelings aren't valid because they haven't gone through enough. So that's another thing. Just find someone, even if it's calling someone anonymously that you can call up and talk to just talk. Find someone that will sit with you and listen to you. And so my biggest tips for trying to support someone who is in a mental health crisis or having some mental health concerns is just to ask them. Just sit and have a listen. It doesn't have to be, obviously, in a safe, calm, comfortable environment if you can. That would be the best way. Yeah, and be straightforward. I know a lot of the worries out there about asking people if they're having suicidal thoughts is you think that you're putting thoughts in their head, but the research has shown, or what Lifeline is telling everyone, what they taught us, was the thought is most probably already there. If you're thinking to ask them, the thought is most probably already there. So ask them, are you having suicidal thoughts? And I have asked this to people over the years, and you can see them just breathe. To be like, oh my gosh, if they feel safe enough in your company and that they feel they can talk to you, you'll see a weight lift off their shoulders if that is something that they've been wanting to talk about. But how do you bring that up with someone? You're not just sitting there chatting and being like, oh yeah, I'm having suicidal thoughts, or I'm thinking about killing myself. Like, you're not really going to throw that into a conversation. But it needs to be asked. If we want to reduce the suicide rate in Australia, we need to be asking people if they're having suicidal thoughts. And if they are having suicidal thoughts, please don't minimize them. Please don't tell them everything they have to live for. Because at that moment in time, I'm not saying to go and say, okay, yes, go and do that. But they just need someone to listen to them. They just need someone that they can talk to that will hear them out and come from a place of empathy and non-judgment. So just sit with them, listen to them, ask them questions about how they're feeling or how it might have gotten to that stage, or what it is that they feel, why they feel that suicide would be the best way out, or the best way for them to heal. And slowly over time you can start bringing into it, what brings you joy, what makes you happy, what do you have to live for. But in that initial, please don't tell them they're silly. Don't tell them they're stupid. Don't tell them, oh, you'll be right, or different things like that. Because then, they've just confessed something major to you. And if you just leave them hanging, they're not it'll be very hard for them to confide in someone again. And if you don't feel that you can support them in the best way, give them Lifeline's number. Give them the number of the Suicide Callback Service, or Black Dog Institute, Beyond Blue, Got You Covered, Headspace. There's a men's line. There's so many services out there, and they're growing day by day to help men and support their mental health. And then also provide these services. Yes, thank you, Lisa. So 13 11 14 is Lifeline's number, and that's anonymous. So you don't have to tell them who you are or anything like that. It's totally anonymous. And all of their trainers, all of their crisis support, people on the phones, are trained in suicide prevention and awareness and how to help. And so they'll do similar to that. They'll just ask you, if you're having a rough time, are you having suicidal thoughts? And if this is going a bit further, yeah, there are so many crisis support networks, you're right. So I'm going to I'll probably do it on Instagram as well, but I'm going to write a blog post on the website that lists all of these services, the statistics. I'll try and put this video on there somewhere as well, so that if you have someone in your life that you're a bit worried about, you can just send them the link and they can see all the numbers there and all the websites, and they can click there. And the Suicide Callback Service can also support family members too. So if you want to know how to support, and same with Lifeline, you can call them if you are worried about someone but you don't think that they would call themselves. You can call and empower yourself to be able to empower them. So yeah, let them express themselves, provide help if it needs to go into professional help. You don't need to fix them. It's not up to you to fix them. but it is up to us to support people and allow them to express how they're feeling. So that is, I think, everything that I wanted to talk about. I hope I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I'll answer them as I go on. But or you're welcome, you know, if you don't want to comment on here but you have any questions, you're welcome to send me a message and I will happily chat more. This is something I am really, really, really passionate about, is all mental health, but also men's mental health, because we need to support our guys. They're thinking they need to hold everything on their shoulders or carry the weight of the world, and not like, oh, that's what, finally looping around to the point before. If you're not fit, or if you're feeling like you want to get stronger or fitter or healthier or lose weight, you go and join a gym. You go and take care of your physical health. We need to start trying to break down this stigma. So stop the stigma. There's so many. Heart on My Sleeve movement is an incredible service for breaking down the stigma of mental health. So Mitch, he is incredible. There's Pucker Up service that one of a school friend from many years ago, he just did a bike ride around Victoria raising funds to help stop the stigma of mental health. There's Tomorrow Man. There's so many that I will get to you guys. But the point is, like, we go to the gym, or we hire a personal trainer, or you hire a business coach, or you have like you hire a cleaner, all these different services that we will employ to make our lives easier and to take burdens off in different areas. And that's all seen as okay. But, you know, oh, if you want to go and see a counsellor, if you need to see a psychologist, or if you're not coping with the stress that life is nowadays, like, life is stressful. And it's okay to need to talk to someone about it. And it's okay to have a cry. Like, let the emotions out. That's why we're getting so sick and it's getting even worse. And people are getting so pent up, is because they feel like they have to hold everything in and deal with it all on their own. And no, I can't ask for help. I can't show weakness by not being able to cope with all of this stuff that is cropping up in our lives. Like, it seems so strange to me. It seems so strange that we can hire a personal trainer to help us get in shape or lose weight or take care of our physical health, but there's still such a stigma around supporting our mental health. And I understand it, but it also doesn't need to be that way. And there are services out there, and so use them, support them, donate to them so that they can support other people. Yeah, it's okay to cry. Yes, Lisa, it's okay to cry, and it's okay to say, I'm not okay. Because no one's okay all of the time. And if you can deal with something in that moment or in that time period of, you know, okay, I'm having a shit time, I'm going to go and speak to someone and get some strategies or get some tips or help to heal that part that is not coping so well, or these emotions are coming up, you will move on from that so much quicker. This is my whole thing. If you feel it, heal it, then you can just be. Let it be felt. Heal the wound. It can take time and it's ever evolving, and you can dip in and out. Like, I still go and see people for different things when I feel like I need a top up. Then you can come back and get back, and, you know, ebbs and flows of life, and that you won't need to see someone forever. But if you are having some struggles, it's okay to see someone. Or they might not even be struggles, just someone you want to talk to about, like, just how to cope with different things that are cropping up in your life. That's what all these services are here for, to connect people with people. Have someone that is there to listen just to you and let you get on with life and living the life that you want to live and you want to lead. Yeah, hang on, sorry, I've got some questions in here, so I'll just have a look through. Oh, I hope I haven't missed anything. Okay, thank you guys, thank you. Oh, okay, Lisa knows Wayne from Pucker Up. So guys, if you also haven't followed Lisa, go and follow her. Just one woman, and you won't regret going to follow her. Okay, I've got a question here. If they call these centres, they have a certain problem. Are they there to listen, or are they also equipped to lead them to someone who can, yes, both, who can help with the future problem, help them further with that problem? Yes, so they can offer immediate crisis support, but they can also steer you in the direction. Poor connection, hopefully that didn't drop out. But yeah, so they can yeah, they're there to listen, to let you have a talk, and then also to be able to help lead you to where you can find help further. The suicide callback service, that is a service that you can extend with, but Lifeline and things like that, so you'll call them, that's anonymous, you'll talk to them, they'll have a chat, and then they will say, okay, I feel like, you know, if you feel you need further support, they can give you the numbers of other services that are more specific to that particular issue. Does that answer your question? Yes. Yes. Yeah, Cam and Jules are awesome. And they should not be shamed. And no one on that show should be shamed. Like, it's an entertainment show, and that's a whole nother matter of how the shows are produced and how they are edited and manipulated for our own entertainment. And yes, I am guilty of watching it, but I am so over the drama. Like, why are they pitting people against each other? Why are they... That's for another chat. But if no one's got any other questions, I will let you go and get on with your day. But please, share this with anyone that you feel could benefit from it. I'll do my best to try and save it and upload it in other areas. It'll be available for 24 hours here. But the same goes for all of you women out there. There are plenty of ones, and I'll do a whole nother thing on services just for women. But yeah, this one was just particularly close to my heart because, yeah, I got very fired up hearing that Cam had copped some flack for releasing his emotions. Yeah, and I got like protective. But it inspired me to do all of this and to get out there and hopefully, and like Napa said to me, if it can help one person, then he doesn't really care about the backlash or whatever, the negative comments. But overwhelmingly, it's been more supportive. But yeah, there's always going to be people out there that are trolling and that are not... Oh, and yes, that's another thing that I was saying to Nap. Like, he, for whatever reason, him breaking down and crying and showing that emotional side, it's not any reflection on him, how people reacted to it. It's what's happening in that person's life, within themselves. So we say it a lot, is like, if you're triggered by something, often that person who is triggering you is holding up a mirror and showing you exactly what you are either not dealing with or not ready to deal with, or you find too confronting for yourself. So it's not Cam's issue how we all respond to him crying. Oh, maybe you feel embarrassed, or maybe you feel empathetic, or maybe you feel like he shouldn't do that. But that's also what, yeah, that's showing how you feel about showing emotion and different things. And it's not a negative thing, or it's just something to be mindful of. So if you see something and you feel a bit judgmental of what that person is doing, often it is because you either, maybe it's just something you would never do, but also maybe underneath it all, it could be something that you don't feel you can express, or you feel you would be judged too heavily for doing something like that. But yeah, so that's my, hopefully it wasn't a rant. I hope it was more just sharing of information. But yeah, Liege, last night's episode was so draining. And they just seem to be throwing this random stuff out there. Like, poor Ning, she seems awesome. Don't start throwing doubts into her mind for stuff. Oh, good, Marty. I'm glad you've only seen the positive comments. I haven't even looked for the comments on it because, yeah, when Nat told us about the show and, yeah, they're like, don't fight our battles for us. So I don't think I'm fighting any battles. It was more just to show support and to help if any guys are out there, or any of us girls, because majority of you guys are girls, how you can support the guys in your life. But that is it. That is me. Oh, gear up for it, Holly. It's a bit of a brutal episode last night. Hi guys, hi to the, oh yes, it's thanks, Ames. Yes, it is a nice tea. It's one of yours. But yeah, we're just wrapping up our chat on men's mental health and how we can support our guys. So I'll save it. You'll be able to watch it for 24 hours and I'll figure out how to put it on the website as a blog, and I'll put all of the numbers for places that you can call if you need crisis support or just organisations that are doing incredible things for mental health and trying to reduce the suicide rate in Australia. But yeah, Holly, it's Amy, Confetti Rebels. Peace, love and lollipops. Thanks guys. I have so much love for you all and I will see you again soon. Bye.